very excited to have my game plan for the 2024-2025 school year. And this year I will have a 10th grader, a 7th grader, and a 4th grader. And today we are going to go through the plan for my 10th grader. Welcome back to Juicebox Homeschool. Today we're just going to dive into what we're using for my 10th grader for the 2024-2025 school year. I believe it's about 70% of the same things that we did last year, so there's not going to be many surprises if you've been following me for a while. But if you're new here, I'm on Instagram as Juicebox Homeschool, and I share a lot of our daily content there, just our homeschool journey with 3 kids, and I will be heading into my 11th year of homeschooling this year. Very, very excited and motivated to get this year kicked off. I don't have a whole lot to show you for the 10th grade. A lot of the curriculum will be online. I should mention we homeschool with a charter school, and that has been a real blessing to me. I have a homeschool charter video, a Q&A, and a lot of questions that I've been asked on Instagram about it. So I will link that video for you here, but feel free to drop any additional questions in the comments about charter schools, and I'd be happy to try to address those. Let me go ahead and start with the online courses. There's not going to be many new things to share here. For math, she's going to be taking Algebra 2 with High School Math Live. She took geometry in her freshman year with High School Math Live, and it was probably one of the most challenging courses for her, not to do with High School Math Live, but more to do with geometry. So she's looking forward to getting back into algebra this year, and she's going to be taking the honors course. I did purchase a used textbook for that course that they recommend, the kind of textbook that we had in public school. It's very similar to that. They meet twice a week in an online classroom, and they are able to ask their teacher questions. They have homework and quizzes and give study tips, and that has been working well for us so far. Next up is science. She'll be sticking with Blue Tent Online, and she's going to take their chemistry honors course. Last year she took their bio honors course with Irene Payne, and it was such a good course. Science was not her favorite subject. It was something that she did well in, but it just wasn't her favorite subject. I would say after taking bio honors, it's really up there with language arts as one of her favorite things to study. There is some fear going into this chemistry honors course just because she has dabbled in chemistry a little bit. I think it was the summer after 8th grade. I did a short intro to chemistry study just to kind of get her familiar with it, and it was hard for her because she wasn't as interested in it, but I'm hoping this online course will be a different story for her. Okay, so here's one change for English. She was taking a course last year from AP Homeschoolers, which was a very, very rigorous, thorough language arts course, and if you have a child who loves to read and write, especially write, that is a very good course to take. She actually received a very high grade in that course and loved it. It was something that consumed so much of her time, but she really enjoyed it and felt like she grew a lot in her writing. And I was able to see a lot of her writing samples, and they were so impressive, and to see the growth from one year was incredible. This year, while we were interested in staying with AP Homeschoolers, they're not fully recognized by our charter school, which means we did something called an A to G guide. Those guides are designed by our charter school, and while one A to G guide or even 2 are not that hard to complete, it's just basically making sure that you get the work done and turning it in on time. Completing multiple A to G guides in one school year can be a lot because you're taking the course, doing all their assignments that they ask for, and then additionally completing the A to G guide, which are additional assignments, basically proof of learning. She was able to handle it really well freshman year, but it was not ideal. Because of that, we're going to take a break from AP Homeschoolers and do the Honors English course with Blue Tent Online. So we'll be doing science and English with Blue Tent Online this year. And I've heard great things about this teacher. I heard there's a lot less writing compared to AP Homeschoolers, which I'm okay with. I feel like her skills are very high in writing. It's not something that I'm concerned about, but I've heard great things about this teacher and about her style and the focus on literary analysis. I'm hopeful it's going to be another good year in language arts. Okay, now let me show you some of the books we'll be using. Okay, this is something we've been working through this summer, How the World Runs and Your Part in It. I love that it's so practical. The reading is written to the student, very well done. And I like that it's talking about topics that we have not covered yet. We are doing an economics study with Guest Hollow, which I'll show you in a bit. And so this has been working really well in tandem with that study. Investments, good government, economic theories, supply and demand. There's some hands-on practical work with it. So there's a big project for every month that they're supposed to work on, and they get like 5 options. One is like find a part-time job, keep it for 8 months. Another option is how to create and market a product into the world, or increase the amount of responsibility you have at home or in your home business. I think that it's helping my daughter to think outside of just our homeschool and start kind of opening her eyes to the future and what her role is in the world. We will continue to work on this in the summer and throughout her 10th grade year. My hope is that it doesn't last the entire year because we started in the summer, and this will be something that trickles off early in 2025. Okay, so while I talked about government and econ, this is Guest Hollow's Government, Economics, and Personal Finance curriculum. We have been working through this also this summer. I love that it's a different style for us. It includes so many different aspects pulled in. It's not necessarily a teaching curriculum, but it's bringing in a ton of great resources. They've done so much research for us. Here's the book list. It's amazing and extensive. So this is week 2, just an example of how it's laid out. This is the online textbook that they have written. These are some of the books that they recommend. There's a workbook included, extra resources and activities. These are some articles and printables. And then there's all these video resources. My daughter has now been introduced to TED Talks and she's a fan. And here are some other reference books that you read through slowly, which we have been doing. Each week is pretty full. She really likes to watch the videos first. I think it helps her get an idea of what she's going to learn that week, and then she'll start reading the books. And so it's designed for a 5-day week. It's spread out pretty well, so she doesn't feel overwhelmed. And I think because it's summer and we're doing a lot less, she has been able to complete this without any stress. My hope is that we will continue this throughout the school year. Now, I am open to pulling any of these things, pausing any of these extra things that we're doing that I'm not necessarily giving her like a credit for on her transcript. These are things I just want her to learn and be exposed to, and she will eventually take an official government and econ course. This is more to start growing her foundation in it, building her interest in it, and also expanding her mind into the depth of these topics. So when things get overwhelming for her, I'm okay to pause these as we see fit. I'm also going to be using Guest Hollow for history this year. This is High School American History 1 curriculum, and we already started this summer. We're actually doing 2 weeks of this every week, if that makes sense. 2 weeks planned in here over the course of 1 week in the summer. And I'm doing that because we have the extra time and because I want to give her a head start. But after her online courses begin, then we're going to switch it back to how this course is designed, to doing 1 week in 1 week. I went through the book list. This has been helpful to just highlight the ones that I want to use. Doing the research, I checked each book online to see what it's about, what it looks like on the inside, and just knowing my daughter and kind of picking the ones that I think she's gonna like or we can skip. And I also like that Guest Hollow ranks, here, I'll show you this. They rank the book list. So they also went in and ranked the books according to how important it is to their curriculum. So the number 1 books are the most important, and it goes down from there. We picked up this book, A Patriot's History of the United States, from a thrift store, and it's massive, but she will read a subchapter as it's assigned. So it's just up until the little bold area. So it looks massive, but it's the spine book, and they'll read this throughout the entire school year. Okay, that is history. And then we are going to continue on with our apologetics study. She went through the New Answers Book 1 last year. She would do this independently twice a week, go over it, usually on Thursdays. So this curriculum was designed to have the Book 1 and Book 2 done in 1 year, but we spread it out over 2 years, and that worked out great for our schedule. Topics in Book 2, it says over 30 questions on creation and evolution in the Bible. What's the best proof of creation? Did humans really evolve from ape-like creatures? What's wrong with progressive creation? For foreign language, I am not 100% yet, but we are considering doing ASL 3 in the fall. It's not for sure yet. She is taking ASL 2 as a dual enrollment this summer. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet for the fall, but the plan is most likely to do ASL 3 in the fall. But she's been studying on her own because she feels like the more time that passes without it, those skills drop off. And so she's trying to maintain it on her own with YouTube videos and things like that. This is a brand brand new study from Not Consumed, and we love their Bible studies. I don't think I've used any other product other than their family Bible studies, but I saw their new launch. They have like a health study, I believe, and practical life math study. We have been a big fan of their Bible studies, and a lot of the things on their website look appealing, but just being picky and choosy. So this one caught my eye and looked really practical for my teen. It's definitely a season where I'm always looking for things that are practical and will help her with life skills and all of the things outside of the core subjects that really makes up a lot of real life, right? So trying to build those things in. I want her to be as prepared as can be for life after algebra, right? So this one looked really good. I actually have not looked at this thoroughly. Maybe I'll do a flip through if anyone's interested in that. But the topics in this book looked new to her, things that I have not talked about yet, some that I have but have not gone into depth with. Excited to see how we can incorporate this book into our normal schedule. I haven't figured that out yet, but this is here and we're most likely going to try our best to go through it. And the last thing that she'll be doing as her extracurricular is dance. She's been dancing for so many years. She'll continue on with her competitive dance team. That takes up a few of our afternoons and sometimes weekends. She'll get an elective credit for that. She's already completed her physical education credit. We will add dance as an elective, and she'll receive high school credit for the hours she puts into that. I think that's all we have planned for the 10th grade year. It's still summer, so there's always room for changes and adaptations. I'll be sure to add any revisions to the blog post to keep you updated on what changes we've made or we added in or weren't able to fit in, to give you an idea of a real life homeschool plan. We make these grand plans, right? We find all the great resources, but in reality, it comes down to a lot of other life factors and how things work with what. But I'm grateful to have these great resources to choose from and then craft the best plan for our kids. So that is what 10th grade is looking like so far. I'm not feeling mourning just yet. I am in shock that I'm homeschooling a 10th grader, but I think a year from now when we're talking about 11th grade, I think that's probably when I'll start spiraling downward and feeling like the end is near maybe, but hopefully not. Right now I feel excited about our 10th grade year and looking forward to learning more together. I will have a stack of read alouds as usual that her and I will read together throughout the year as well. That's one of my favorite things that we've done in our middle school and high school years together. It has been such a fruitful practice, and I highly encourage moms and dads to continue reading aloud with their older kids one-on-one as well. If you have the capacity and the time, it's so worthwhile. If you have any questions about anything you saw here for 10th grade, please drop it below. I'm so grateful to be able to share this with you, and I will see you in the next video.